Shalom, Yahweh, once again giving no praises to
Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakak Wadash.
So, I mean, we're just gonna see where the Spirit takes us. But, man, it's the end of the world. I mean, we should have started there. Let's talk about how the economy is doing bad. You know, nowadays you see restaurants going out of business. You know, your favorite restaurant, one of your favorite restaurants, you've been going to for years, and then suddenly they shut down. You know what I'm saying? Or businesses consolidate. Like, you might have a barber who will be like working in a barbershop and paying for a chair, doing this and that, and they don't even want to, pay the rent, because you got to pay the rent to the landlord. You know what I'm saying? So they come up with alternative ways or measures to sustain their business. So everybody's cutting corners nowadays.
Things are getting so expensive. They can't afford to even cut hair there no more. Like the barber that I used to go to, he don't even got the shop no more. He got like his own private setup. Like
See, that's your spirit.
He got his own situation. Shit is too high, especially depending on the state you live in. Say you live in New York, shit is too expensive, and it only goes up. So how long until you're just ultimately priced out?
This is the era where you can't trust nothing or nobody. Because like I said, everybody's cutting corners, everybody's out for themselves. So when you do business with somebody or when you deal with somebody, just make sure you vet them. You know? That could even go for personal relationships, because you got people out there that will try to game you. Here it is, you might fly a bitch out. You know what I'm saying? When she gets to the hotel, you think you about to get something. She don't even want nothing. She just used you. You had a nice situation going on. You rented out the yacht. She went out on the yacht in Miami. I went to the restaurant. You think you about to get something, but you don't.
You doing all that for
I
sure.
seen a video like that. This Jake flew this chick out. She's like, nah, my stomach hurt. Yeah. But you know, if a chick likes you, like, she's going. You know what I'm saying?
That's what it is. Simple.
Anyway, this is Habakkuk 2:6. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increases that which is not his? How long? And to him that latest himself with thick clay. So like I said in the beginning, this is the end of the world. When we say the end of the world, we mean the end of Esau's world. We can see this kingdom collapsing every day. Can you see like a way out? Like, can you see things improving? Can you see things going back to the way they used to be 10 years ago?
No. Because when you come into this truth, you ultimately understand shit was always fucked up, but it just got worse over time. And it's not gonna go back to the way it was, which was just fucked up. But when you compare and contrast, it looks like it was better than say 2020 compared to now, which it was, but shit is still fucked up. America's on a decline.
Going back to Habakkuk 2:6, it said, and to him that latest himself with thick clay. And how long will he last? Basically, going to that Hebrew word clay, it means dead. So, in other words, like, how long do you expect your financial system to last when you base it off of debt? You want to get a house, you gotta have a mortgage. Unless you got cash to pay it off. But most people don't have it like that. So they got no choice but to get a mortgage. And the price of a mortgage nowadays, I mean, it's not even worth it. It's not even worth buying a house. And the rent is sky high. You know what I mean? People wish they can go back to the 2020 days when the studio was A nice studio apartment was $1,200 depending on what state you live in. People wish they can go back to that day. How much is a studio nowadays? It's almost $2,000. $2,000.
Back in the days when you can get a nice car for $5,000. Now you buying something for $5,000, it's booked on, high mileage, something you really don't want. Now that same car that was $5,000 is $10,000.
It's double. But that people don't understand. Like that's the value of the dollar going down. Like that's the result when you overprint money, when you don't base it off of like precious metals. But when you just keep borrowing against yourself. Like, how much debt is this country in? Was it like 40 trillion now?
Yeah, but it's at now.
I forget.
The total United States national debt is 39 trillion. So yeah, 40.
That's not good, man.
And it's like, how do you get out of that? That's something you never you're never gonna be able to pay that off, like ever.
That's the point. You're not gonna pay it.
With interest, like. So what's ultimately the goal?
Obviously, they at least knew that it would all come down to this point.
Right.
You know, when they had to reset the system. That's when the mark of the beast comes into play. You got something?
Trying to find it. Let's go to Proverbs 14 and 14. Your phone. This is Proverbs chapter 14, verse 14. It says the backslider in heart shall be filled with his own ways, and a good man shall be satisfied from himself. The simple believeth every word, but the prudent man looketh well to his going.
The simple believers every word. You know, like you still got people that believe that a politician can fix his system.
Right.
They still think that somebody just has to come up with the right scheme or the right plan to bring this economy back. But the reality of it is, each president that comes into office, they're following a script. The show is bigger than them. And it's obvious who really runs this place. It's the small heads.
And it's like somebody thinks someone is going to save them. And the person they think of is never the Lord. It's always a separate, like an outside person other than the Lord that they're coming to solve their problems. Only the Lord is going to solve our problems. Because America flowing the way it is now, it was supposed to be like this. In the eyes of the wicked elite, things are going according to plan. But you're the one that's on the bottom, you know, collateral damage. It is what it is.
Remember when that dude said, just vote for me, you never have to do it again. So does he know something that we don't? Have you heard of Agenda 2030, right? So the way I see it, their plan is to make everything happen before 2030. You know what I'm saying? So within this next year or two, like, it's gonna get dark. That's the way I see it. Because how long can this keep going the way that it's going?
The bubble has to pop.
Like, motherfuckers can barely afford to live.
Proverbs 14 and 14 again. It says, the backslider in heart shall be filled with his own ways, and a good man shall be satisfied from himself. The simple believeth every word, but the prudent man looketh well to his going. Like if you still think voting is gonna put you in a better situation, it's simple. Like how long? Like that should have been debunked by now. But us that know what's actually going on, we know that doesn't affect any real change. Voting. It says, a wise man feareth and departeth from evil, but the fool rageth and is confident. He that is soon angry dealeth foolishly, and a man of wicked devices is hated. The simple inherit folly, but the prudent are crowned with knowledge. And this is the crown of knowledge, you see? Knowing the will of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, because people really don't know what's going on.
They don't know, they don't want to know. But you know what? The best part about this is that you see all these curses. That's when Jake's starting to like shift and fall on, Esau. Like, Jake is used to being down and out, not having much, working with what they got. But now you're hearing about 34-year-old white women that have college degrees having to move back home with their parents because they can't afford to live on their own, or because they broke up with their boyfriends.
Should be so bad they be living with their parents with their husbands. Like, you have like two families living in the house.
Yeah. That's another reason why dudes is opting out of the dating game. Like, anybody that's smart, anybody that's not dumb, doesn't want to live with a chick. They don't want to have to go half on the rent with a chick. Because all it takes is for one argument or a breakup, and then it's like the rent falls on your shoulders. No longer is it split. You know what I'm saying? So a dude would rather just resort to just doing their own thing, figuring it out themselves. Because trying to like fit a woman into their life, it just brings like complications and like, I guess you could say stress if you let it stress you.
Trying to live with a woman, that's what I'm saying. If you're going to move out, you got to be able to do it yourself. If you want to move a woman in, cool, do your thing. But to depend on her for the other half of the rent, as a man, you're in an emasculating situation.
Yeah, I seen that on the news. It's this white chick. She's like, yeah, my boyfriend and I, we broke up. So now I gotta move back home. My parents, I gotta stay here for a few months just so I can get back on my feet, save up some money. Because that's another thing. Like, it's so hard to save up money in this economy.
All these recurring payments, that's the curses though.
And the value of the dollar going down. Price of stuff going up, so it's gonna take you even longer to get to your goal. I heard a statistic. They said that back in like the 40s or the 50s or whatever, like the average person made 3 times what the house cost. But now you got to make 7 times what your house costs in order to afford it.
That's why people are house poor now. All they got goes to their bills.
Yeah. So they say that the average age where somebody buys a house now, instead of it being like 24 back in the day, it's like 38 now.
Okay. Trying to get a starter home so you could actually, plant the seed, have some, some stake in this place. It's all over with.
So my thing is like what's the point of America if you can't get fly? Like, because really the whole point of it is for like materialism and convenience and the glamours and glitz.
You can't even play the game no
So
more.
if you can't play the game and get into that, owning a nice property, nice home, then what the fuck's the point of this?
Right. You're trying to carve out a piece for yourself, but you'll never have it. Or you're gonna hurt yourself trying to obtain it. Now you just put a burden upon yourself. Times aren't like they used to, like the generation before us, where they could actually get a loan and get a home at a reasonable price. A mortgage now is like $5,000. Imagine having to cover a $5,000 bill every month. It's coming every month for the rest of your life. Like
that's not even gonna be like that. Like it doesn't stay like that either.
it could go up.
You know what I mean?
Property taxes, like that's what I'm saying. Like the American dream is over. Like you can't. It's not even obtainable anymore. And those that do obtain it, those that actually do acquire it, that's their life now. They don't got no money for nothing else.
Yeah, because homeowners insurance goes up. That increases the mortgage price. Also, utilities. I mean, electricity, water that's going up,
You know, that property tax, it always gonna go up.
property tax. So that's why people are house poor.
So you pay the house off. If by somehow you lived to actually see yourself pay the house off, you didn't die before that. Now you got to pay property taxes. Now you in your 70s. Got to worry about paying that now.
You on a fixed income, you're 70 years old, and you still gotta worry about your property taxes, which depending on what state you live in, or what county, or what town, it could be very costly, your property taxes. You know what I'm saying? On top of your utilities, because that's never gonna go away.
But that's the play though. That's the scam. Here it is. Okay, you managed somehow. You were the few that paid off your home, and now you got to worry about property taxes. How you gonna cover that? Now that house that's paid off, if you can't manage to afford the property taxes in your old age or the fixed income, they gonna take the house from you that you paid off.
Or you gotta just downsize. Like, you gotta consolidate. If you're smart, honestly, you wouldn't even be trying to build a life over here.
It's not even worth it.
Like that's why a lot of people are leaving. They're living abroad. Or if they are staying, and then they moving in with like roommates. Like who the fuck really
That's
wants?
not even an ideal
Yeah,
situation.
who wants to really live like that? Like at that point, what's the difference between you living here and then living in a third world country? You can argue a third world country is better. Like somewhere like Brazil, you got people that live on their own in Brazil. They got a little apartment. You know what I'm saying? And they manage it. It's a simple life. But if you coming over here to America, and you still living a simple life, then you should like really count yourself out. You missed out on the American dream. So my point is, like, what the hell's the point? What's this point of staying here? You might as well go back to your country and be recognized. At least your money will go farther.
Better peace of mind.
Yeah. You don't have to work so much. Because, America's work culture. Everybody that comes here, they say that.
Hustle.
They gotta grind.
This is Proverbs 14 and 18. It says the simple inherit folly, but the prudent are crowned with knowledge. The evil bow before the good, and the wicked at the gates of the righteous. The poor is hated, even of his own neighbor, but the rich hath many friends.
The rich got many friends. If you notice, rich people, they like to hang out with people on their social-economic status. Why? It's because they know that the next rich person they're hanging out with has something to lose, or they're not desperate. You really don't ever want to be around people that are like desperate, or that are operating out of distress, because then you never know what they might do to you. They might try to cross you, they might try to stab you in the back. So that's why rich people like to hang out with other rich people, because they know that they all have it. Who the hell wants to be rich and hang out with a bunch of poor people?
Yeah. It's like that golf course culture. The rich hang out with the rich, politic with the rich, ultimately builds their wealth. Hanging out with Jake, you're gonna be the paymaster. You're just gonna be paying for everything. Hanging out with somebody that don't got it.
You're hanging out with somebody that's from your old hood,
Yeah.
and you the one who's got to be the meal ticket.
Exactly. Proverbs 14 and 19, it says, the evil bow before the good, and the wicked at the gates of the righteous. The poor is hated, even of his own neighbor, but the rich hath many friends. He that despiseth his neighbor sinneth, but he that hath mercy upon the poor, happy is he. That's it.
Yeah, and in this society, people don't care about the poor.
At all.
The rich don't care about the poor, because if they did, you wouldn't see so many people that's out here on Section 8, waiting to get on the Section 8 list. You know what I'm saying? Like, for some people, that's like the height of their life. Like, making sure that they get a good situation on government help.
Housing lotteries.
Yeah, like before, you used to, I don't know if it's still like that now. I think they changed it. Before, you used to be able to pass down your Section 8 from generation to generation. And then you wouldn't have no incentive to like get a crib on your own or like get a job.
That's that whole play though. Like that's the whole wicked device.
But you gotta wonder why do we even have to be subject to living like this in the first place?
Ultimately, the person. Let's go to Ecclesiasticus 12 and 17. I'll start at 16. It says, an enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit. He will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. If adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first. And though he pretend to help thee, yet shall he undermine thee. And that's Esau for you. That whole Section 8, that's that whole game. You know, keeping you at the bottom and your lineage at the bottom. Because see, you got it comfortable, you got this Section 8 housing, but if you go out and try and do better for yourself, it's all gonna get stripped from you.
Right.
So that's a whole scheme in and of itself. Keep down a nation of people. And it worked.
Now they're taking that away.
And this is throughout the country, it's not like just a designated location. You go to New Orleans, New York, Dallas, like this is something that takes place all over the country. You know, Jake doing, on Section 8, scraping the bottom.
Well, statistically, it's more so-called white people
Edomites, yeah.
that
Those
are
rural
on,
towns.
that are on government help.
Right.
Because you got places like Idaho or Ohio or somewhere in like Mississippi where there's like no jobs.
Walmart.
There's nowhere to work except Walmart. And that could be like 20 miles away from you.
They're working in some non-franchise.
You're not getting 40 hours a week, They're not paying you much an hour.
No benefits.
So you gotta go on government assistance. They said that used to be the whole point of Walmart. So you qualify for that type of stuff while still keep a job there. You know what's really humbling people? You know what don't lie? These damn gas prices. Because all across the country they're the same. It's the same. It's not higher depending where you're at.
I be driving around like to and fro, and I be seeing cars just parked on the road. I be like, yo, this is just right. And they be like newer cars. I'm like, yo, that shit really break down and then you run out of gas. Like, they be like newer cars.
Oh, and they said now this is the era where people be parked up in parking lots like a Walmart.
Living out their car.
Yeah, they living in an RV or they sleeping in their car.
It's like a whole culture now.
Yeah.
People make content out of it.
They'll park up somewhere like a park or a beach.
They got gym memberships. They use the gym to go shower, do what they do. It's like a whole culture now. It was always a thing, but now people are making content out of it.
And they be like, yeah, I got 1 or 2 jobs. You still homeless? Still sleeping in your car? So the system is failing.
Again, this is Ecclesiasticus 12 and 17. It says, if adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first. And though he pretend to help thee, yet shall he undermine thee. He will shake his head and clap his hands, and whisper much and change his countenance. That's it right there. We ultimately understand Esau is just being the devil he was set up to be. Because if he was righteous, he would help this situation. You got billionaires here. You got Elon Musk is a trillionaire. If they really wanted to help the situation, they could, but it's not even on their mind to do so. It's not even in their spirit.
Nobody ever side eyes them or looks at them like they're crazy. Like they say Elon Musk is the richest person in the world, but he's really not.
He's not.
He's just a face. But let's go with that. He has some riches. Why doesn't he do something with his wealth to make life better for those that are less fortunate?
The microchip. You get to walk now.
Yeah. That's his way of making your life better.
Which is ultimately going to destroy you. See how he works? You see the deception?
You're going to get a UBR. At this point, that's what it's going to have to be. They're talking about AI taking over jobs. And Elon Musk, he said it himself that humans aren't going to have to work in the future. So what's going to be the alternative? Robots, AI, and UBI. Because, we got to have a roof over our heads. We can't be out here looking at the elements. I know the cost of rent and a mortgage isn't going down. So something got to give. They got to figure out something. And it's going to be the CBDC system. It's going to tie in to the market beach.
Ultimately, though, this world needs the elect in order. Because the way that the Lord intended the world to run, it sets everything to be in proper order. Look at this. It sets everything to be in proper order.
Yeah, if they just follow the laws of the Bible, such as the land Sabbath, then food wouldn't lack so much nutrition and value. If they follow the year of Jubilee, then nobody would be in crazy debt.
Right.
Simple like that.
But it wouldn't be a benefit
To them.
to their kingdom.
Yeah, if anything, that
do
would benefit everybody, including Jake, especially Jake, because we already naturally more talented and gifted than the other nations, and especially you. So you give us a fair shot, we're gonna surpass you.
Ultimately, they're not gonna wipe the debt because the money is in the debt.
Yeah.
That's how they make their money. So
Yeah, because they charge you interest.
Exactly. So here it is. You have a house.
Get the law usury.
That's why this world, it's imagine people's debts was wiped out. They have more, breathing room.
Yeah. People won't be able to have a sigh of relief. Imagine you didn't owe hundreds of thousands of dollars on your mortgage. Not only that, but people are being taxed to death.
This is Exodus.
They said that the Powerball, the lottery, I think it's at like 2 months. I forget the exact amount.
Somebody hit it.
Yeah.
There was one, I know the Powerball and the Mega Million. Somebody hit.
Was it almost $800 million?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
It was almost $800 million, and they did the math. They said by the time you pay your taxes,
you get 300,000.
Yeah, 250 or something.
300 million. 300.
I bet you it was some white guy in fucking
That don't even need it.
somewhere in Utah that hit.
This is Exodus 22 and 25. It says, if thou lend money to any of my people that is poor by thee, thou shalt not. Slakia, read it again. It says, if thou lend money to any of my people that is poor by thee, thou shalt not be to him as an usurer, neither shalt thou lay upon him usury.
Yeah, so this is the law with how we're supposed to deal with each other, the Israelites. So really, you're not supposed to charge interest with a person of your nation. That's called usury. That's what the white man does to us. You know what I'm saying? It's oppressive when you think about it. Here it is, somebody don't got the money, you're gonna take advantage of it?
If they're coming to you, that means they don't got it. So how they gonna pay extra on it? That's taking advantage of it. Somebody in a desperate
So
situation.
now you're borrowing against time.
But That's ultimately the
You're
point.
willing to wait for them to pay you back.
They like these credit card companies and loan sharks. That's the thing. They don't want you to pay them back the full amount right then and there. They want to use you to squeeze out all the interest. That's what all the money is.
They'll give you a card for like a $5,000 or $10,000 limit.
13% interest.
Probably like 20.
So crazy. And most people don't know how credit cards work for real. Again, Exodus 22 and 25 in the NLT. It says, if you lend money to any of my people who are indeed do not charge interest as a money lender would. If you take your neighbor's cloak as security for a loan, you must return it before sunset. This coat may be the only blanket your neighbor has. How can a person sleep without it?
See, and that's fair.
Right. It says, if you do not return it and your neighbor cries out to me for help, then I will hear, for I am merciful. Because here it is, you might borrow something from somebody. It's not like they didn't need it. They may need it back, but they have this window of time where they give you to where it's okay. I don't need it this moment. So you pay it back. Here it is, if you just take it, you never pay it back. Now you're leaving them in a bad situation, and that's your own people. That's it. There's more precepts or usual.
Let's go.
It's that Leviticus.
I know Esau isn't our brother. So, I mean, he looks at it like we could charge these people, interest on top of everything. Hell, they even do it to their own people.
It's Deuteronomy 23 and 19 in the NLT. It says, do not charge interest on the loans you make to a fellow Israelite, whether you loan money or food or anything else. You may charge interest to foreigners, but you may not charge interest to Israelites, so that the Lord your God may bless you in everything you do in the land you are about to enter and occupy.
I got a scripture. Ecclesiasticus 14:5. He that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? He shall not take pleasure in his goods. So if you got a man that doesn't do right by himself, how do you expect him to do right by, like other people, by everyone? You know what I'm saying? Because here it is a white man's world, and you got your own people that are on the bottom complaining about how they missing out on the blessing. So if they getting skipped, we for sure gonna get skipped. So that's why we can't look for this man to do right by us. We just gotta wait for our Savior so that we can take this world over ourselves. You gotta wait to receive that power, spiritual power. You gotta wait for our Lord to make his return, because that's what it's all about at the end of the day, man.
There's nothing we can do ourselves. See, the Lord, when he comes back, he's coming to take everything back for us. Give it to us. That's all you can do is wait.
This is a real life that we live. You know what I'm saying? And this is a cold world that we live in. Things ain't getting any better. So that's why we look forward to the end of this world. I might as well title this video that the end of the world. Nothing here for us. Ultimately, there's nothing here for us. Let's say you want to have a family or live a simple, regular life here. You know how hard it is to achieve that now? They made it damn near to where it's impossible.
It's a burden.
Yeah. Or it drains you. You don't have the energy for nothing else. They say you're in the top, what is it, like 10% of earners? If you make over $75,000 a year? Yeah, like top 15%.
Chop it down to just Jake, it's probably less than that.
Yeah, now you start factoring race, ethnicity, How many Jakes make that much? And then here it is. You got the woman come talking about she want to do that's having. You know what I'm saying?
They never had a dude that was happy.
She expects you to take her out on a yacht in Miami, or take her to go jet skiing, buy her Hermes bag, a Gucci hat, cause she seen somebody else wearing it. So now she wants it. She feel like she gotta have it.
You want a Birkin bag, 4-yard bag. Second Ezra 6 and 54. And I gotta say, like when we talk like that, we understand that's the worst of our women, but all of them got some shit with them. All of them. This is Second Ezra 6 and let's start at 54. It says, and after these Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all, and the people also whom thou hast chosen. All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes. As for the other people which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle, and hast likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel. And this is what the Lord thinks of these people, and this is who's running the planet Earth right now, you know? Even the people that's in power. It says, and now, O Lord, behold these heathen, which have ever been reputed as nothing, have begun to be lords over us, and to devour us. But we, thy people, whom thou hast called thy firstborn, thy only begotten, and thy fervent lover, are given into their hands. If the world now be made for our sakes, why do we not possess any inheritance with this world? How long shall this endure?
Yeah, how long? There's not a day that goes by when we don't think about the kingdom, you know, the end of this society.
We really just want this to be over already. Like, if by some reason we're not of the elect, we just want this shit to still just burn, you know? Let's just get this over with.
Nobody's bigger than the program. No, you should just be glad to see the downfall of your enemy.
Hey guys.
How you doing?
Hey, you go.
Imagine America going on for another 10 years like this. Like, who wants to put up with this?
Another 20 years. Can you imagine that?
It's depressing. Try not to.
I mean, at this rate, none of us would be able to live. We'd probably be dead, you know? If that's the case, but it's not. I don't see us being here much longer.
Let's go to Deuteronomy 37. Because it's not even just Jake, like, even Esau. They feeling this squeeze too now. It's like the working class can't even function here anymore. You gotta be making money in abundance to actually be, you know,
They basically
sustained.
obliterated the middle class.
Middle class is just, you know, barely getting by, you know, just keeping their head above water. This is Deuteronomy 30 and 7. It says, the Lord your God will inflict all these curses on your enemies. Actually, let me start up somewhere. May as well start at the top. This is Deuteronomy 30 and 1 in the NLT. Let's go back to the KJV. This is Deuteronomy 30 and 1. It says, and it shall come to pass when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whither the Lord thy power hath driven thee, and shalt return unto the Lord thy power, and shalt obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day. Thou and thy children will with all thine heart and with all thy soul. That then the Lord Yahweh thy power will will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations, whither the Lord thy power hath scattered thee.
Yeah, so in other words, we repent, come back to our identity and nationality, which we are. This is the great awakening. The Lord's going to uplift us from this captivity. But us out here, preaching the truth and, being aware of who we really are, it's all prophecy at the end of the day.
Says, if any of thine be driven out unto the outmost parts of heaven, from thence will the Lord thy power gather thee.
So the Lord is going to gather his people that are scattered throughout the world. You got Jakes in Africa, you got Jakes in Italy, you got Jakes in South America, and obviously all the tribes here in North America and America. So we everywhere, man. So, it's impossible for us to get every single person, every Israelite on this earth on the same page. So that's why the Lord is only dealing with like the elect of his people, 144,000, and the 1/3. As long as the Lord got his elect, once his elect is sealed, then that's when you're gonna see, everything else come together, all the rest of the prophecies. Did the elect is sealed already?
Joyce,
Not yet.
Joyce, she just cleaned
Joy?
she just worked.
Deuteronomy 30:4, it says, if any of thine be driven out unto the outmost parts of heaven, from thence will the Lord thy power gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee. And the Lord thy God will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it. And he will do thee good and multiply thee above thy fathers. And the Lord thy power will circumcise thine heart, and the heart of thy seed, to love the Lord thy power with all thine heart, and with all thy soul, that thou mayest live. And the Lord thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemies, and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee.
That goes into what I said earlier about how now you got so-called whites that are complaining about the cost of living and how they can barely afford to keep a roof over their heads. When you had Jake in the hood dealing with that for years, man, having a worse quality of life, being in the hood, but still making it work. Now if you want a nice apartment, a nice place, you gotta pay like a premium price now. If you don't want to live in the hood, you're gonna be paying a lot. But if you want to, be on a budget, you might wind up living somewhere in the hood and still be paying a lot. So it's like now, it's like there's really like no middle ground. You're either rich or you're poor, or you're either doing bad or you're doing good. You know what I'm saying? Like the average American's living paycheck to paycheck. Nobody's really having it like that.
It shows.
Fucking average car note $750. That should tell you a lot right there.
Tack on another 300 for insurance.
Like, why does like 70% of your income or 50% of your income gotta be, your housing? Why does it gotta be like that?
Right. It leaves no room for nothing else. Deuteronomy 30:8 says, and thou shalt return and obey the voice of the Lord, and do all his commandments which I command thee this day. And the Lord thy power will make thee plenteous in every work of thine hand, in the fruit of thy body, and in the fruit of thy cattle, and in the fruit of thy land, for good. For the Lord will rejoice over thee for good, as he rejoiced over thy fathers.
So that's what the Lord ultimately wanted for us. That's what he had in his heart. Us to be self-sufficient, us to be plentiful, but we don't have it like that now. We live in a capitalist system, and we rely rely on grocery stores to get our food for the most part. You know, some people have gardens, depending on where they live. You know,
That's for
not
Deuteronomy.
only that, but like a lot of people don't even have the knowledge on how to garden or how to run a farm because that way of life has been stripped from us. When hundreds of years ago or 1,000 years ago, that was the norm. Like that was all people knew.
There it is. People don't even have the time to do these things.
Yeah, that part.
Like, these things take time, and people don't have it no more. Again, what is America? It's the luxury of just having access to something you need quickly, you know? The convenience of it. Deuteronomy 30 and 11, it says, for this commandment which I command thee this day, it says, it is not hidden from thee, neither is it far off. It is not in heaven that thou shouldest say, who shall see go up for us to heaven, and bring it unto us, that we may hear it and do it. It says, neither is it beyond the sea, that thou shouldest say, who shall go over the sea for us, and bring it unto us, that we may hear it and do it. But the word is very nigh unto thee, in thy mouth and in thy heart, that they mayest do it. That's it.
Yeah, so with that, we're gonna wrap it up. Shalom. Until next time. Stay strong.